Community Viewpoint.
And welcome once again to another edition, holiday edition of Community Viewpoint. It's getting to that time of the year. I'm John Pawlak, your host. That's what it says below me there. And it's that time of the year to speak about, if you're gone to Walmart, Home Depot, the other places, you know what time of the year it's Christmas time. Christmas time brings a lot of responsibility with a lot of extra items in the house that cause heat, extra electricity, things that are not normally in our house. We have to use them in a very prudent way. In order for us to learn how to do that, I've invited two of our finest firefighters from our fire and rescue, Jared Orum, firefighter, paramedic, and Lieutenant Kevin Clickner from Prum's Finest. They're going to be talking to us about fire safety and Christmas safety. So, gentlemen, what should we be looking for? Where should we go to have a safe home for Christmas? Electrically, trees, what should we do? Should we buy a Christmas tree the beginning of November, a live one?
No, if you're going to buy a live one, your best bet is buy it in the beginning of December or close to. Keep it watered, make sure it doesn't dry out, because once it starts drying out, they burn quickly. We had the video we were watching a minute ago that shows within a minute a whole room of contents because the Christmas tree burned up. Keep them 3 feet away, at least 3 feet away from any kind of heat source. Open fires, and watch your electrical cords that you're using for it.
Yes. So since you mentioned it, let's go there first. Let's watch the burning bush, so to speak. So Noah, would you play that for us?
Christmas trees are a wonderful addition to a holiday season, but can lead to a dangerous situation if not cared for properly. From 2003 to 2006, a yearly average of 240 home fires started with Christmas trees. Each year, these fires caused an average of 16 deaths, 25 injuries, and $13.1 million in property damage. Fortunately, Christmas tree fires are not common. However, as you're about to see, they can be very serious and have disastrous results. To have a safe holiday season, please follow these important safety tips about Christmas trees. Do not purchase a tree that is already dry or dropping needles. Place your tree in a sturdy tree stand designed not to tip over. Keep live trees moist by giving them plenty of water daily. When decorating your tree, always use lights that are in good working order and free of defects. Connect no more than 3 strands together designed for indoor use. Always unplug tree lights before leaving home or going to bed. Never use candles to decorate a tree. Make sure any lit candles in the room are placed well away from tree branches. Make sure the tree is at least 3 feet away from any heat source, such as a fireplace or heater. Children are fascinated with Christmas trees. Keep a watchful eye on children when around the tree and do not let them play with the wiring or lights. And lastly, safely recycle your tree when it begins dropping needles or as soon as possible after Christmas. Dried out trees are highly flammable and should not be left in the house or garage. This message has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Monterey County Fire Investigators Association with assistance from the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Have a happy and safe holiday season.
And also remember, they say saw off the first 2 inches of the tree stump, and then bevel it also, so you get the maximum amount of water absorbed. And make sure the dog doesn't use it for the water dish. Don't let the dog drink from that. So we were looking at the 10 leading causes of house fires, and Jared, what comes to your mind as far as house fires?
A lot of times you'll see a lot of fires that are started in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you'll get a fire that's in the oven or on the stove top. Even some microwave fires, you put the right stuff in there. A lot of times if somebody's in there cooking, they're just not paying attention, they're distracted, and stuff whatever you're cooking will get overcooked and just get burned out. First of all, it's not good to eat after that, but then it'll start a fire as well.
Right.
Some of the other things that you always got to kind of watch out for are candles. Candles are, yes, they make your home smell wonderful, but a lot of times if they go unattended as well, they can burn down and they can catch things on fire. A lot of times people will put them close to like tablecloths or curtains, and those will catch. And once those catch, a lot of times they go up pretty quick. A couple things that you also want to watch out for are your heaters. It can get pretty cold at night, sometimes during the day. And a lot of times people will put heaters out to keep a nice atmosphere. With the heaters, you want to make sure that you keep at least 3 feet around it so that nothing will be able to catch from that as well. Holiday decorations, those are another big one. If they're not plugged in correctly, sometimes you'll have bad extension cords. Not plugged in, they can overheat, pull too much power, short circuit, things like that. So there's a few things that you probably want to watch out for.
So while we're on that subject, do you want to talk about, we had a video also, we want to go into that. This will give you extension and power strip safety. So let's play that, and we'll come back and we'll speak about that more.
We always have a good time with the Quincy Fire Department, but we're talking about a very serious topic, and that's residential house fires. We're giving you the top 7 reasons for those residential house fires, and we're on number 3. And if you're like me, you're guilty of this already this morning. This is Jerry Smith. He's a firefighter with the Quincy Fire Department. And you said number 3 is?
Electrical distribution and lighting. There's over 47,000 fires per year because of electrical issues, and over 400 deaths per year because of the causes of these. What we really would like to discourage people is if you see something like this right here. If you use a power strip, you want to read the underwriter's lab label on the back to see how much of a load this strip can take. We don't want to see any major appliances plugged into this strip. If you do have one of these strips, we encourage you to have one with a breaker or a fuse in the strip itself, so if it does get overloaded, it will trip that.
Okay, so I have a power strip at home that looks just like this next to my computer. I need to just make sure that it does have a trip mechanism so that if everything does get a little too hot, it automatically shuts off.
Right. And the thing we do not want to see is what you have, the last plug and the cord here. This is called daisy chaining. We're going into another outlet strip or another power strip. We don't want to see that. That's a major cause of overloading in electrical fires. And if you see this plug here, you plug it into an outlet, it has 3 other plugs on it. These are definitely dangerous. We don't want to see those. And this is the other thing we don't want to see right here is an extension cord plugged into the power strip, and at that, a faulty extension cord.
Yikes.
So we want to discourage everybody from doing these types of things. This is what we don't want to see, and you want to read the label on the back to see what these strips can handle.
Okay, and especially important going into the Christmas season where all of us will be putting up Christmas lights and all sorts of electrical appliances. Now, coming up on KHQA this morning, we're heading into the top 2 reasons for residential house fires. You're going to want to tune in. Life-saving advice this morning.
So unfortunately, where I work, we see a lot of what we just saw over there too. I'm very much a stickler for that because I worked as a contractor for the government. We have safety, 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 and so that's one of the big no-nos for me. So if you want to expound on that a little bit more also.
Sure. There's a lot of times we take our extension cords, we'll take those multi-plug the short circuit protectors. A lot of times we'll plug way too many things into that. We'll go from extension cord to circuit protector to circuit protector, circuit protector. You get too many of those, they're still going to draw too much power. A lot of the ways that you can tell if you're drawing too much power, when you turn the lights on, the lights will start dimming and flickering, and you'll get that creepy, scary feeling.
Yes.
But it's not anything supernatural. It's actually you're drawing too much power and you're going to cause some problems. You want to make sure that you're not plugging multiple extension cords and surge protectors into each other. So when you draw too much power from your overloaded circuits in your outlets, that's where you'll see a lot of fires coming from. When you see in the movie, for example, if you look at the movies, you'll see a lot of people that have a lot of different outlets, and there's just plugged in, plugged in, plugged in, plugged in. It's way too much. You want to make sure that you're only doing one per plug, not getting too crazy with a lot of your electrical extension cords and that.
Yeah, make sure you have the thick enough wire, a 12 gauge extension cord if you're going to be having a long run and a lot of things plugged into it. If you have things that are outside, normally any homes that are built in the last half century will have a GFI on the outside showing the ground fault interrupter, but yours at home will have a cover on it. But if it doesn't have something like that,
yeah, if you're not using a GFI plug, you don't want to use your extension cords outdoors, and that's what they're there, is to protect any areas that your power outlet could get wet. It's there to protect you from getting shocked or
it'll trip just
start
like that.
electrocuting yourself or starting fires. You'll see them a lot of times in your bathrooms or anything
Kitchen.
that's on an outdoor run of plugs. So you definitely want to make sure you're using one of those and test it. They have a little test button and a reset button as well, and make sure you're checking them before you plug into them.
all right then. So thank you, gentlemen. We will be back next week for the second part of the show because there's a lot of important things that we've been talking about. And thank you for watching. Thank you, Noah, and we'll see you later.
Community Viewpoint.